Alright, welcome friends. Welcome fiends. I've still got this panel and this bottom thing to do, but I've got a lot of speech bubbles to do, so let's do some speech bubbles. If you know, I normally use the technical pen for those. They go in a special layer that is above the art and below the text. So there's the text on the top, there's speech bubbles, and then there's all the art down there. And that's just so that you can do this. You can drop a flood fill into your box, and this whole thing floats above the art, and then the text is the topmost thing. Very simple. I also have an idea for changing up, making one change on the panel today. One significant change. That's looking good. So this is drawing all of our attention right to the center, even though she's very small on the page. Let's move Aura Don't to the side just a bit. There we go. And anyways, let me get into what that change is going to be. When you have a vehicle, characters in a vehicle, you can even do the speech bubble coming out of the vehicle. Don't count that out as a tactic. Anyways, what I was thinking is these two, the vehicles are the same size or close to the same size. I was thinking about making this one much smaller. Now I've got this one really tiny, right? So let's get back to bubbles. I think I haven't left enough room. Alright, let's drop the white in. Boom. Then we're using our narration boxes as intended, which is narration. Story narration, not voice narration. The modern way that comics are using narration box is just they don't use thought bubbles anymore. If you haven't seen a thought bubble in years in a mainstream comic, that's by design. They apparently don't believe in them anymore. It's very stupid of them. It's one of the most important pieces of comic lingo. So here's my idea. Whoop. Uniform. I think my original concept for the ship was to have it somehow spinning, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. Alright. Taking the pencils back out for a moment. Get back onto my ink layer. I think there are... it's supposed to be like some reflective metal texture. Okay. I think I'm okay with this panel. I think this is looking okay. Alright, so how about this one? This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Alright, bringing it back. This is on the ink layer. Because it's got a black background, we're going to try and use some thin lines. But make sure that there are at least no holes in them. So when we do a black flood fill, we don't lose any part of it. It's really easy to get lose track of your line weights. Alright, I'm looking at this. And all sorts of texture. I don't think I got the windshield right. There it is. Now, to go back to my original plan of doing things with more contrast. There we go. We're going to black out the whole background here. I've used this before in Starlock, which is in the space one. The very first Starlock I did. He talks about his time in limbo, which is depicted very similarly. Let's say that 12 is here. think I should have gone with some thinner line weights on that. All right. All right, let's moment of truth. Moment of truth. Nope, didn't. We failed. All right, so why? Where is the problem? There it is. Oh, but there's a problem right here too. All right. Okay. Now we can kind of go in. Figure out where we went wrong on the ship. And I think I may have found it already. Underneath. Yeah, that was it. Alright, let's pull off the pencils completely. And it's going to have, you know, this is going to have speech bubbles and stuff. The way we'll find them is we're going to take this ink and we're going to reduce the opacity to long enough to do the speech bubbles and such. Left it at 99. I've got to do 12. Let's say that this is 3. Practice your hand lettering. 6. This is a terrible 9. 9. No. Oh, that's 6. 9 would be just off here. 8. 7. 5. 14. You might be wondering, why is he using such a noisy brush for this stuff? It's just who I am. There was a similar depiction of the spaces between worlds and with the shards that I did in Prometheus Powers. The world of the shards is different than the time dimension. There's the world of the shards actually is these sort of flashing crystals, and then with each crystal contains its own little world. So that's not what's happening in this one. They're actually going to be rolling through time out of the world of crystals. Let's see if I do this one correct. Let's say we put 12 here. 6 here. 9. 3 is off here. This one is 12. Let's do this one as Roman numerals. Some of the clocks are upside down. Some of the clocks are... I keep wanting to draw a 14 for 4. Now, if I was really clever, and I'm not, I would figure out some kind of Easter egg to hide in the clock. All the clock stuff would be the perfect time for it, right? Oh, and the ship got damaged too, so it's got like this sort of... Let's actually change this to white. So I'm still using, instead of the eraser, I'm using the distressed white ink. Anyways, although we're moving on to a different comic after this, this is going to be the start of Corbeau's sort of Doctor Who era where he's traveling through time. He was always traveling through time, although it wasn't obvious. In the first one, where he ends up on Pellucidar in the dinosaur world, that should have been the obvious giveaway, I guess. But then the futuristic ship, after he crashes his other ship. So how we got the air sub in the first place. Alright, we're going to take ink, lower it down, grab the black technical pen again. Get back on the bubbles. And let's fake in our narration boxes. There we go. And then we bring the, where is it? Opacity back up. I think there's some things that we can still do also. Let's bring back that. Get back to ink. We could add a little bit of texture to the clock. Just a little bit. Speaking of texture, I'm actually it's calling to mind Toriyama for me, because Toriyama had in Dr. Slump, there was this character called the Time. Is it Mr. Time? He was the clock, and he had a time machine. Actually, it was a time mat, the time slip mat. And there we go. This is just some white dots for texture. Gives us the idea that there's more clocks out there just so far out that you can't really focus in on them. And there we go. All I got left is this part at the end. Corbeau and the air sub fly further than they've ever gone before. It was a fun comic. I'm glad I did it. I think I spent too much time in it. I was goofing around too much. But I got some good sort of side jobs while I was working on this, which was kind of cool. And, you know, maybe taking it a little bit slower was a good thing. I also took a class kind of in the middle of working on this. And I am signed up for another class, which I'm quite excited about. Alright, we're going to have the same problem. We want to do flood fills, but we want to make sure our flood fills work. As of now, I think this flood fill will fail, but it might work out. Let's see. Let's give it a shot. Boom. Hey! Oops. I have very bad handwriting, and it really was a challenge for me to learn a little bit of lettering enough to do this. Wait. I'm looking at this. I did it wrong. Goes all the way back to here. All right. This is the kind of block lettering I used to do like in high school, like on the inside of your social studies spiral notebook. It's nonetheless a cool effect. Oops, too thick. Alright. Alright, let's see if we can get flood fill here and a flood fill there. Let's take out the pencil. Actually, that looks okay. We might even do this one right here. And, you know, we could do more texturing. We could put some texture in on these inside the letters, too. Now, to state the obvious, there was a video game, an arcade game, if you will, in the 80s. That was called Time Pilot. And the premise of the arcade game is like that 1941 game where you have like an airplane and then you start out with like a World War II airplane and then suddenly you're fighting like across, you're fighting helicopters, you know, you're fighting jets. And then eventually it's spaceships. And that's basically the inspiration for this. I wanted him to go sort of time traveling into the future, into the robot dimension. I also want these characters to have crossovers with some of my other characters. And I've set all the other characters in different times, different ways. I think Corbeau might be a good crossover with my Frankenstein character. It's looking pretty good. Get that arc in. All right. These letter T's were not very intuitive to make. I started out by just drawing the letter, but then I wanted to like kind of pinch it, you know, do this sort of thing. And I didn't expect it to come out like it did, but that seems to be the only way it works. That. And I was going to do Right. I think that's it. I think that's my final page. If you would like to read the whole comic, you can go to Instagram, where all my comics get posted. I'm not saying that's where it'll always be, because I'm thinking about other alternatives now. I'm starting to. But that's an easy and free way to read them. And we eventually will do something bigger with these and have sort of a collected edition of Corbeau with all the adventures together. This is some extra texture. These dots are implying a sort of concrete or matte texture. I think we could even let's do it in the bubbles layer. This time it's not with a technical pen, it's going to be like almost like a hand lettered sign. We'll do a little rip right here. And then we'll even do like a there we go. Alright, tomorrow we should be starting on our new comic. Whatever that is, but I think we can finally say that Corbeau is done. 15 pages. This is the last one. Alright. Talk to you later.